Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are learning this truth from who do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. Until I say Shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson through the Spirit. Now I'm entitled this one, The Mirth of the Land is Gone. And what is mirth? Going into that spirit of joy, of optimism, people being happy, people actually having to look something to look forward to, knowing the future, that party spirit, even though people are still doing these things, really is a forced spirit. They're not really in that spirit because, everything's good. They're in that spirit to escape reality, to escape because of what's going on around the world. Because majority of the people up on the planet Earth, they see what's going on. They see that the economy is collapsing. They see that, jobs are laying people off. Grocery prices rising, rent prices rising, inflation at an all-time high. You got wars and rumors of wars. People getting hit with natural disasters. So people are trying to escape reality, but it's not working like it used to. Back in the early 2000s, in the 90s, people could go out and, escape reality because it wasn't as bad. But now that prophecy is playing right in front of everybody's eyes, people are still trying to get that spirit back. That's why they're still out here trying to celebrate Halloween. They're still out here trying to celebrate Thanksgiving. They're still out here trying to celebrate Christmas and New Year's. But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is crashing that spirit. He's taking that spirit out of the earth, because now he's putting it upon the spirit of Esau, Edom, to collapse this system, to shut the government down, to shut down the aerospace so people aren't able to get on flights and visit their families. And that's ultimately Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai collapsing this system, because Babylon is done. It's through. And along with Babylon being through, with it circling the drain, the mirth of Babylon, the great America, is also being taken away. That's why these people, they go on social media, they go on TikTok, talking about, the holidays don't hit the same, Thanksgiving don't hit the same, Christmas don't hit the same. Yeah, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai he's collapsing this place on, ultimately because it's his will, but he's putting it up on the spirit of Esau, even to collapse it, because he's about to bring in that new digital system. And that's why all these people are mourning, because they can't go out and party like they used to. You got clubs and bars shutting down because people don't have that extra income, to go out. Restaurants are shutting down. Movie theaters are empty. All these different celebrities are having to, cancel movies, and rappers and artists and R&B singers, they're having to cancel, their tours and, their concerts, because people don't have that money, and another way that people are trying to escape too, is through drugs, alcohol, doing abominations. But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is taking the mirth out of that the same, and that's ultimately letting us know that the end of America is near. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. And that's majority of the people. That word haughty, going into, being extremely proud. Where is the root of all the pride is here in America, because these Americans, these Babylonians, they're so entitled to, going to work, receiving a paycheck. People are so entitled to the food stamps, the government handouts, the welfare, the Section 8, the alimonies. But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is taking that away, because a lot of these welfare recipients, a lot of them are Edomites. They're so-called white people. And they're the ones that are complaining the most, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is collapsing the system of this Edomite, Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. And along with it, our people have always been at the bottom of the barrel. But now that Esau, Edom is feeling it as well. Now they're crying out. They're crying out for a solution. They're crying out to Jake, to join them and fight back the system. But where was Esau, Edom, when Jake was at the complete bottom of the barrel 200, 100 years ago, 50 years ago? Esau, Edom wasn't talking about, let's get together and better each other. No, now that they're feeling the same effects and the curses are being put up on these heathens, now they're trying to get Jake, to join them to fight this system. But that's not going to happen. Yahweh Shema Shai is only going to stir up the spirit of division more and more, which is going to lead to civil war. I'm going to jump down to verse 7, Isaiah 24 and verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. And that's what's happening. Yahweh Shema Shai is collapsing all these different forms of entertainment. The NFL, the NBA, the BET Awards, BET, that's over with. MTV, just got shut down, a couple weeks ago, because Yahweh Shema Shai is taking the mirth out of everything. He's taking the mirth out of the entertainment industry, the music industry, video games, taking the mirth out of these different music venues, bars, clubs, restaurants, because Yahweh Shema Shai is about to destroy America through the thermonuclear missiles. But first, he's going to tear it bit by bit like he's doing. That's why these people, they're crying out, because all the wine, the different forms of entertainment, whatever forms of escapism they had back in the day, is not hitting the same. That's why people, they're not drinking, to have a good time. No, they're drinking to escape reality. And it's going to go into that in a couple of verses down. Verse 8, the mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. So all this music, partying and having a good old time 24/7, Yahweh Shema shutting that down. And it's only going to increase more and more and more. Verse 9, they shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. That's what's happening. All these people escaping reality, through drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be. Yahweh Shema Shai is taking that away. And very soon, when Esau, Edom collapses the system, these people aren't going to be able to rely on these so-called coping mechanisms, drugs, alcohol. A lot of people are on meds, being medicated 24/7, antidepressants. Yahweh Shema Shai is about to take that away, and these people are about to get hit with reality extremely hard. It's gonna hit them like a thief in the night. They're not gonna expect it, because they're so used to comforts and the dainties of Babylon the Great. Verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. And that's what's happening. All these different businesses, restaurants, you got mass layoffs in the tens of thousands. People, they're not able to work. So if people don't have a source of income, that's leading to people not spending money on these different businesses, restaurants, going out, which is furthering the collapse of this system, furthering the collapse of this economy. But it's all by design. Verse 11, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So Yahweh Shema Shai is collapsing this system, because that's the will of Yahweh Shema Shai, of the Heavenly Father and the only begotten Son. His will isn't to make America great again, to restore America, and to make the economy great again so it can bounce back. No, that's what these people are hoping in. But now that it's obviously not going to happen, people are in that spirit of sorrowfulness and mourning, because this is their hope. It is America, Babylon the Great, for this beast system to continue on forever. But now that Yahweh Shema Shai is collapsing now these people, they're feeling it. This is Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 34. Then will I cause to cease from the cities of Judah and from the streets of Jerusalem the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, for the land shall be desolate. And that's Yahweh Shema Shai doing this. He's taking the mirth out of this land. making families, be fight amongst each other and be separated. Friends fighting amongst each other because Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is collapsing this system. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Verse 4, I'm jumping down to verse 4. A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. And majority of our people and these heathens, they've been always in that spirit of laughing, all the damn time, dancing, partying 24/7 like it's 1999, like it's 2000. But right now is not the time for that. Yeah, brothers may enjoy some folly in their downtime, but other than that, we're occupied in the ministry, for the most part, for majority of our time. But what are our 2/3 of our people doing? They're consumed with folly 24/7. With the bread and circus, the distractions of Babylon the Great, TikTok and Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be, completely not knowing what the hell is going on. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushua wants him to be in that spirit of eating and drinking into marriage, because we're just like in the days before the flood. Flood behavior. Jake thinking that they're not going to get judged, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushua wants him to be in that spirit so he can catch him off guard. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. So majority of our people have always been in that spirit of partying all the damn time, folly 24/7, and that's all they know. But now that it's being taken away, now the roles are being reversed, because the hopeful elect, we've been in that spirit of mourning, crying out to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to bring this system down, to bring this devil down, to judge the wicked of our people, like it says in Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. But majority of our people, they've been in that spirit of feasting, laughing all the damn time, cracking jokes. But now that the roles are being reversed, we're in that spirit of rejoicing, because we know that our salvation is near. Verse 3, sorrow is better than laughter, for by sadness of countenance the heart is made better. So, being real with what's in front of us, which ultimately is prophecy, is reality. But majority of our people, they're trying to escape reality, thinking that if they, ignore it, it's not going to happen. Thinking that if they keep ignoring inflation and wars and rumors of wars, then it's not going to happen. But it's going to hit them. It's going to hit them off guard. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushua wants them to get hit off guard, because they've always been playing all the damn time, just like Jake's always been in that spirit. Verse 4, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, going into the elect. What spirit the elect will be in? But the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. And that's majority of our people. They're fools, sottish, not knowing what the hell's going on. And that's why Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is collapsing this system. Because Jake has always been in that spirit of eating, drinking, giving into marriage, not giving a damn what the hell's going on. But that's why the Lord is taking that spirit out of the earth. This is Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 9. For thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua of hosts, the power of Israel, behold, I will cause to cease out of this place in your eyes, in your days, the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride. And that's what's happening. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is taking the spirit out of Babylon the Great, out of this whole earth, because he's about to bring it down. He's about to collapse it. It is gonna be destroyed in 1 hour, like the scripture says. But first, it's gonna be taken down, bit by bit, like it's been doing. That's why this economy is tanking. That's why inflation is at an all-time high, because America's done. America's through. And it's not gonna be healed like our people are hoping in. That's why the spirit of mirth is being taken out, and it's not gonna come back. It's only gonna get worse and worse, because we're already in the beginning of sorrows. But Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is only going to increase it more and more and more. But that's pretty much the point. I pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all learn this truth from who do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom.